What's up, everyone? It's Zach Clayton, and I'm pumped to introduce you to my podcast, Prestige Access. Let's get to work. Today, we are on location in New Jersey at Valley Springs Recovery Center with founder Brian and a good friend of mine, Chaz. Gentlemen, thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Chaz, great name. My middle name's Chaz. Some people call me Michael Chaz Powers. So
Love it.
That could be my ring name.
That's your stage name.
Stage name, Chaz Powers.
Yeah.
Chaz Powers. Yeah.
That is a cool name.
Gentlemen, thanks for having us. Great facility, great building. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, Brian.
Yep.
And Chaz, I know we'll work you in there too, of course, man, because you're absolutely here also.
Thanks.
So.
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough 15 years ago in May 2011 to find sobriety. I had a drug addiction, my late teens, early 20s, and make a long story short, I had a very bad football injury, which turned into years and years of opiate use, Xanax, cocaine, and other substances. And I started working in this field about 13 years ago, worked for some large healthcare providers, and I always had a passion for bringing value back to my local community. I didn't know exactly what it was. I thought, maybe it would be something on a nonprofit, maybe it would be a treatment center, didn't really know. And, in 2020, we were just talking about COVID before we started recording this. Everyone had a lot of time on their hand. And I said, you know what? I just had faith that it would all work out and applied for a license in the state of New Jersey. It took about 2 years to come up. Didn't really have a plan of as far as financial means or anything. I knew it would just all kind of work out. And that's where Valley Spring was formed. And we started operating in 2021. We treat primarily adults for substance use disorder as well as co-occurring disorders, which is primary substance abuse, secondary mental health. And we just recently opened up our mental health track, which I know is a lot of what we've been talking about, just like mental health awareness. And we've been doing a bunch of events in January to kickstart the year. So we're going to start treating patients with primary mental health. So, patients will come here 5 days a week down to 1 day a week, depends on, where the therapist and the clinical team want them. They get individual sessions, they do group sessions. We have a full psych team, so we have a psychiatrist, 2 psych MPs, about 14 fully licensed clinicians, and
That's great.
Yeah, so that's pretty much Valley Spring and like how we got started. So,
Wow. And what is the process you said you just kind of went out on a whim during COVID, really, to get the license. Or what is that process like? Are they accepting of somebody trying to do this venture, or walk us through that process a little bit?
In regards to the patients, the state,
You starting the facility.
as far as me starting the facility, I had so much support around me, so many good friends, family, and mentors, right? I was a young kid. I was, 33 years old when we started. And, I had a lot of executive experience, but I didn't, I had very strong mentorship. And, from a very early age, I always tried to surround myself with people who are smarter than me, people who challenge me, and that's what I've done throughout my career is just surround myself with great people. And one thing I always brag is I think my group of advisors are better than anyone out there. They're people who guide us in the right directions. We make good decisions, healthy decisions for our patients. So it was a lot of love and support.
That's great.
Yeah.
So if you can take us back a little bit, if you're all right with it.
Sure.
You got hurt in football.
Yep.
What was the injury and what kind of led you down the path that you are now sober in sobriety? And that's great. And you're doing this to kind of give back to that. Sure. But what were you going through at the time from when you got hurt to where you are now? Could you kind of go down that timeline a little bit?
Absolutely. And I do a lot of speaking engagements in high schools, and it really started even before that injury, right? Like growing up, I was a very, going back a year ago, like doing podcasts, I would get very nervous. I would start sweating. Like it's just not something I'm comfortable with. And, even in social settings growing up, I was very uncomfortable, like whether it was speaking to women, whether it was in big crowds. And then when I found alcohol, it's like, wow, I could be this different version of myself. I could
Social
be,
lubricant.
I could be anyone. I could move in and out, and I'm the life of the party.
Chaz Powers.
Of course, that's right. So, but I had another injury my junior year and kept struggling with it. Had bruised ribs, had a partially torn rotator cuff, and someone looked at me in the back of class and they said, "Hey, this pill, will make you feel better." And could have done a whole host of things in that moment, but my first instinct was just to take it. One period went by, 2 periods went by, and I didn't realize there was a delay. And I felt this euphoria. And it was the pain, a lot of uncomfortability that I grew up with that I didn't really deal with in a healthy manner. I never sought therapy. I never talked to anyone about it. And that's what opiates did for me. It kind of made me into a new person. And then by the time I was in college, had an injury, had prescriptions, had 1 surgery, 2 surgeries, ended up having MRSA on my ankle. So they put a pick from, my bicep into my heart. And before you know it, I go from taking, 5 milligrams of opiates up to 50, 30, 1,500 milligrams of opiates, and every single morning when I'd wake up, like the first thing I had to do was, get out of bed, take two Roxicodons, which were 30 milligram opiates. And that was just to get out of bed. I was already full blown withdrawal by the time I woke up, just sleeping, so that's kind of where it went, and down a lot of dark paths, a lot of things I wish I didn't do throughout my, usage. And I, did harm people. I was able to make amends to them through, this program. And, it's been a fun journey ever since. I'm very grateful for the experience that I went through. And we were just talking before, one of my 2026 goals is just to stay in a consistent state of gratitude, right? And that is one thing that drugs and alcohol did for me. It humbled me. It gave me a lot of gratitude towards life. And, I was graduating my 4th rehab when my friends were graduating college. It's not a great place to be when you're 22 years old.
Right.
I love that too, because as soon as you shared what you're looking to do, it reminded me of moments where my life almost ended or could have easily ended.
Yep.
Brand new car. We just got Coleman Buick. We're driving it back home from an event, and somebody decides to drive on the wrong side of the road. And luckily my wife caught it last minute, veered off. The whole family could have been tragically hurt.
Yeah.
Right. And we're like, we're going to, you never take anything for granted after that.
Sure.
A few weeks go by.
Forget about it.
And forget about it. You're like, my life's terrible. And you don't realize it could have ended right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's horrifying.
Doing things like this helps that, right? I mean, now you're giving back to the community and the aspect that'll really help you with the gratitude fulfillment aspect of it, right?
Absolutely. And there's nothing more that I like than coming in here, chopping it up with our patients and just hearing their stories, right? And sometimes I'm on the front end. I'm taking a call at 11 o'clock at night on a Saturday, talking to a mother who doesn't know how to help their kid. And then, we send them to a partner detox facility. They come to us afterwards, and you kind of see that initial call and where they end up. And we had the snowstorm Sunday.
Yep.
I got a call from our VP of Business Development, Jimmy, and he said, "Hey, we have this guy in Union City. I live in the Hoboken-Weehawken area. He's in jail, got a DUI. Someone needs to help this guy out." And in the middle of a snowstorm, I got in my car, drove up, to the jail and, checked this guy out. And, he was able to get transportation to a detox. And that's what we do in moments like that. That's where I really have gratitude, is just working with them and seeing them day one.
So you could act in real time like that. Like if there's an incident, somebody right now is in that situation, you can go
Absolutely.
and help them in real time.
Absolutely. And then, you never want to put yourself in harm's way.
Right.
You never know you don't really want to break into someone's house or anything, but if someone has a DUI and, you usually have to sign the liability away. But, if someone says that they're willing to get help, I'm willing to put my liability on line for them, and give them a fair shot.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So, and then just the last thing is we've had so many patients come in here and they very, very rough when they first come in. And then you see them, thinking of one person in particular, and you met a couple of our alumni here who, are 17 months sober, 2 years, 3 years sober, and they go out, they work for other people, and they want to come back and work for us. And that's the ultimate compliment. They want to continue to give back to the brand and everything like that. And that's the coolest thing. And you see these people, they go out, and we're starting to do a lot of entrepreneurial ship here. We have a all-day seminar, Pain and Purpose, which is focused around health and wellness, entrepreneurship, and also leadership and recovery. And we want to motivate our patients to have an entrepreneurial spirit and go for your goals. It's one thing to get them sober. We want to accelerate them past that, just getting them sober.
Pain and Purpose.
Pain and Purpose. Yeah. They just recently rebranded. I got to remember what it is, but this happened like last week. But they bring in the summertime, they'll bring a ice bath here. And the patients will sit in the ice bath for as long as they can, and like everyone goes crazy, and brings the community together, which is cool.
We might have to come back in the summer for something like that.
Yeah,
We should.
we talked about how alcohol was a social lubricant, right? And it allowed you to be a little more flexible and outgoing, right?
Sure.
During COVID, it became an antisocial lubricant. Everybody was at home. There was nothing to do. First time I ever had whiskey was during COVID. So then I was like, what am I doing? And I was like, and people are teaching me about the ice and stuff.
Yeah,
But at first it was cool. 2 weeks into it, I'm like, nah, man, like, this is not me. Like, this is a whole, and it was really because there was nothing else to do. So have you experienced a lot of people coming through here that potentially got off the rails because of COVID and because of the shutdowns and stuff? Has that really geared into a way?
And you know what the scary part is? We have, to answer your question directly, but I don't think we've fully seen what COVID has done to our society, right? We have a whole, you guys have young kids, right? Like, in the ones who are in school during COVID, it's like that year or two of not socializing.
Yeah.
What does that mean long term? We can only guess and project what it does for like generations, but we're already seeing like beer sales are down.
Mm-hmm.
Alcohol sales are down, way down. Marijuana is way up, and it's getting scary. We're having people come in with crazy symptoms off marijuana because of the way they engineer it now. But I think we have seen so much mental health come out of COVID,
right?
Because now we box everyone up for a year or two.
Right.
You're masked up. You're wearing gloves at the grocery store. I remember wiping down all my groceries, all this crazy stuff. And
I remember
it's like, what's real information? What's misinformation? And, then all of a sudden it's like, okay, back to the real world, right?
Well, you're just told you can't go outside. You can't go see your friends. You can't have them come over. You can't go to work. You can't do anything. And then, by the way, if you do want to do those things again, here's everything you must do, or you still cannot do those things.
Yeah.
That's not really how humans operate.
Even also some of the sanitizer, I was like, this is tequila. It's distilleries like, we have hand sanitizer. I was like, no, you have alcohol.
Well, then actually, you know what you did during COVID? You saw, okay, you want hand sanitizer. Now it's $1 zillion.
Yeah.
It's wild. So now you guys are taking advantage of our situation that, one, we can't control or do anything about because it's illegal if we even want to. And how dare you have a thought that's not something that aligns?
It's gonna tell. To get a freezer back then was like you had to know somebody, and it was like $600 for a 5 cube. It was nuts.
Even workout equipment. You remember, like, you can get your hands on some
like, Pelotons, like on the planet market.
That's completely different. I remember how angry people were. Like, I was outside at a farmer's market, had my mask a little bit below my nose, and this woman starts yelling at me that I'm too close to her. I'm like easily 4 or 5 feet away from you. We're outside. It's cold. Like, there's nothing happening. And like that type of, like, I feel like we lost a lot of.
That was the birth of the Karens.
Yeah. Common sense. That's the other one, right?
Yeah. Amen. And humility. I think about the kids, man. Like my daughter, I've trained her, trying to coach her into doing this better, but they'll be FaceTiming each other and like mid just hit end. Yeah. Like they don't say goodbye. They don't like say, hey, I'll talk to you later. It's just, you're gone.
Just like
the way we would turn off a Nintendo in the 90s. Like, just, I'm like, yo, that was Vivi. You can't do that. That's your best friend.
Yeah.
You have to say, I'll be back later. I'll do this. Like, so that social etiquette, it's through the window, and it's because of that.
Yeah.
And
God.
you know,
Yeah, I feel bad for the kids.
Yeah.
It's not their fault.
it's not.
They're the result of something that really just screwed a lot of society up.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. It's like, you guys ever go to a counter at, my experience was at a movie theater. I don't go to a lot of movies anymore, but I went to a movie theater and I was like, all right, there's 3 of you here. Which one of you are going to help me? And they're all around the same age.
Yes.
17, 18 years old. And they all looked at each other. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to have you help me. Like, there was
Yes.
no, it's like a very weird interaction, but I'm seeing more and more of these as these people who went through these students who went through COVID and now are in real life. It's like the social skills are.
I mean, they've removed you from your community. That's what makes us humans, that we surround ourselves with other people. And that's what gives us energy, gives us that positivity to be able to do that. And I think going back to even sports, when you started with some of those opioids and different things like that, that was maybe because there's other guys on the team or part of your community was using, and then you're like, okay, well, these are my boys. Like, all right, let's do this together. Let's enjoy this together. And I think that's part of, like, growing up and going through that and having a community, and which community that you surround yourself with, and the people that you surround yourself with in the environment that you are, obviously dictates who you're gonna be.
And unfortunately, I feel like I was the trailblazer in that sense, where I was that guy using, and I tried so hard to hide it. And then all of a sudden, some of my other friends started to get in, and that's some of the guilt I have to live with. That, and the people I think of, they're all sober now. Very grateful, but like, I could, not to keep going back to COVID, but during COVID, I had a list in my, like, in your notes in your iPhone. I would just keep a list, and it was a prayer list of, I was like, how many people are on this at this point? And these were people who died of drug and alcohol or suicide, right? Like, I don't think we talk enough about suicide. And that list reached 98 people. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore. This is depressing. Like, I've known and had meaningful conversations with 98 people who have died of drugs and alcohol. And obviously, I'm in it. I'm in the recovery community. Obviously, my numbers are going to be a lot higher than anyone else, but it's a lot of people to know that were taken like that.
Yeah, I think we all know somebody, probably, right?
Yeah. The stigma of asking for help is always a sign of weakness, like in our society, right? And I'm proud to say this podcast started because I asked Zach to help, right? Get me back in shape. Dude, he was posting these amazing stories, and they were natural, they were real, and it was like I just wanted to be a part of this because, like, there's a lot of people that use their platform to enrich themselves. Zach was using it to enrich other people, and I was one of them, so I was hooked. It took me a month and a half, and I knew him already for over a couple years, for me to reach out and say, hey man, like, I need your help. But 2, so I got into Prestige Access. I got onto his plan. We joke about, I like bananas and pickles. That's like my go-to snack. And I found out Zach works out in front of a ton of mirrors. I'm just kidding. I bring it up every time. But look, so like asking for help, like that, as though that's a small ask, like as far as that goes. But like when people have an issue, like there's a stigma to it. Like, we mock celebrities that go into rehab, right? We mock people that need help. And I like, have you any suggestion for somebody who might be listening today that, is afraid to ask because they don't want to look weak?
Yeah. And I just want to piggyback off one point you were talking about. We were talking before, we were joking around, like, how guys communicate, like watching a football game. It's like, hey, how you doing? What do you want to do? And, it's like, I think that's something that I try and promote, is like men, talking to other guys about what's going on with their life. And I think a real friend, like, double down. And if the same person gives you the doing good, I'm doing great, like, every once in a while, just double back on that. Like, you sure you're doing good? Like, leave room for them to open up. And like, me and Chaz were talking this morning. It wasn't planned, but like, I was like, hey, started doing these. He keeps bringing up these affirmations that he does every morning, and him just leading by example. I'm like, hey, I started saying one of your like famous affirmations every morning when I walk around and I pray and I talk to God. Big part of my my life, and that was really cool. But as far as someone who wants to get help, the message is pretty simple. You don't need to suffer. You don't need to go through this anymore. And not only myself, but millions of people have gotten better, and everyone goes through something at some point in their life. And I think it's almost like a screenwriter, right? Your story is like a movie, and whenever you're going through tough like this, it's the screenwriter putting in some roadblocks and trying to build up to like what that's going to be at the end and the road to redemption. So just reach out, call. There's a lot of people, and if you start opening up about it, I can guarantee you every single American is going to know someone who's been through this, and they'll have a solution for you.
Well, going back to something you said, Chaz, earlier that COVID took away, and I know we don't want to harp on COVID, but I kind of do because it screwed a lot of things up.
Mm-hmm.
You were talking about community and just being around the right people that allow you to share. Like, actually, no, I'm not having a good day, and here's why. Actually, no, I haven't had the best month or year. Well, why? You couldn't do that during COVID. You could through a cell phone, but what you could also do through a cell phone is doom scroll and just put yourself in a bigger pit with problem. And you could call a friend, but you couldn't go over and see your friend and hug a friend or anybody to have a real in-person conversation eye to eye. They took that all away. So that is why we saw such a tremendous, huge increase in mental health issues and substance abuse during COVID, because you had nowhere to go. You were just in a hole by yourself.
Yeah.
And as we know, the viewers know, humans are community creatures. We need people. We need to be outside. We need to be moving around other people, doing like-minded things, hopefully good things. And you got to be out there in the world. You can't be depressed and just in a room by yourself all day with a cell phone like that. That is a recipe for disaster.
It was Groundhog's Day every day. It was rough. But Chaz, I want to know how my fellow Chaz, how you got tagged into this, and where.
I think all stems from my dad, Bobby. He is a professional networker. He's absolutely, if you don't know him, then then he probably doesn't know you. I don't know. He's got about 10,000 contacts in his phone, and is absolutely, kind of everywhere, and just always loves helping people. And my dad has a cigar company called Lucia Cigars, named after my great grandmother, and who actually, he grew up in Jersey City, and she used to actually babysit Frank Sinatra. So a little fun.
No way.
Yeah.
That is,
Yeah. So cool.
he should be a part of the FBI just off of that.
A little tidbit there. He grew up in the Heights in Jersey City. So my dad has a cigar event every week on Wednesdays, and Brian ended up going to the event with a mutual friend of my dad, and I was on the phone with him midway through the event. He's like, "You got to talk to Brian," and they started talking because he's like, "Oh, do you have where you from?" So from Wayne. Where'd you guys, did you play sports? And, oh yeah, I played sports, and we end up playing Pee Wee football against each other, going back.
Yep. That's awesome.
And, rekindled our friendship after all those years and going back and forth. And, I beat him in a couple Super Bowls back in the day. But that's how I got reconnected with Brian and then with Valley Spring here. And, I've, throughout the years, and this is kind of my coming out party too. I've been in therapy for over 6 years now, and from a point of just you lose trust in people and loyalty, and working with business partners, and exiting out of companies, not something that was substance abuse related, but more or less just mental health related. And being a part of companies, starting companies from my parents' basement, exiting out of that company after 10 years. And those relationships, those were 10-year relationships. And you think about those times and you're like, wow, I had so many great times, but it didn't end the way I wish it could have ended on different things. But you want to remember those good times, but then you also have, sour taste in your mouth, but you also lose trust. And I think that was part of when I started going to therapy and talking through it, and just like that was something. And I told my therapist the other day, because I still go once a week, and it was something that I was like, dude, you really changed my life. It was something that I had a great upbringing, great family, D1 scholarship to Syracuse, playing football, everything else. Like, it was just something that I thought was necessary. And I thank my wife for that, because she's the one. I would have never gone. I would have never even put myself in that situation. She had, went to therapy growing up, and actually, was able to, she interviewed all the therapists and went through. Like, I didn't know what to ask, who I wanted to talk to about what the things that I was going through. So it's really, it was awesome to kind of see, and then, get connected with Brian, and then kind of opening up about me, talking to somebody about my issues and about, what I've gone through. And, here we are today, and just growing Valley Spring.
That's a great, you brought up something that's super important, because it's not just about substance abuse or of any kind. You could just not be in a good place.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be because of drugs or alcohol. You could just not be in a good place. And it sounds like that's what allowed you to go, maybe I'm not in a good place, and I probably should seek some help.
Absolutely. And I knew I wasn't, because I knew how much you roll back in time, how much effort building this company. I started with $400 in my parents' basement, built up to 50 full-time employees, multi-million-dollar company. And then I go, like, this isn't mine anymore. Like, I'm like, all right, I need to move on, and make those decisions. And you're like, wow, I got to really evaluate my circle, my environment, the people I allow in my circle. And then they could be energy takers. I'm kind of an energy giver who's helping people and doing different things. And I want to be around, good people that support me and that cheer for me, And I think that's like it's not easy to find those people, but when you do, hold on to them real tight. Cherish them, and don't take it for granted, because there's amazing people in this world, but everyone has their, they have a certain frequency, a certain vibe, and a certain energy that they give off, and you want to be surrounded by, good people.
Yeah, this goes with athletes and anybody who's harping negative. They probably can't do what you're doing, right? Like in life. And I've noticed that top performers are the hardest on themselves. So you're always trying to fine tune your craft, get better. I could have done this. Like, I'm sure I sat there was like in shock what Zach did, but I'm sure if he goes back and watches his match, he'll point out, he'll point out 5 or 6 things. And I'm like, this was awesome.
I like super fast in the entertainment before TV or anything. It was wrestling, but also on TV, right? And somebody told me way back, I was like 19 when I heard this advice, and it's great advice for my life in general. Nobody can be harder on you than you if you're your own worst critic. So then nothing else matters. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
I don't care. I know I suck. I know I'm this or that. Good. So I can get better tomorrow. You probably can, but I hate watching myself.
Yeah.
I hate listening to myself, but it's awesome, right?
Yeah.
To me, anything is better than what I did. But that's also a good way to get a competitive advantage, right? Because, I think we're all like that. We just want to get better.
Absolutely.
But
have that growth mindset all the time.
Yes.
And to you, Zach, like, talk about mental health and going through it, like being in the public eye, having fans and being that guy. Like, does it weigh on you sometimes?
Yeah, for sure. I've gotten a lot better the last few years. Consciously, you have to make a huge effort. It's very, very difficult. And I've never seen before so many successful, rich XYZ people that are so miserable.
Yeah.
And it's shocking when you first see it. You're like, you're rich, you're famous, you're supposed to have everything. And you're a miserable person. Yeah, how does that compute? That doesn't make sense.
It works.
And it's so hidden too, right? Because they want to be the almighty, and a lot of them aren't. And the reason is because of it all boils down to your thoughts. It's mental health. Everything starts there.
Yep.
Yeah. So every single day it has to be a conscious effort to be better, think better, do better. Or the opposite of that is not that. Right?
Well, it's kind of like what we were just talking about in COVID. I could imagine that's a very isolating position to be in the public eye, and it's almost like you're suffering in silence, right? And you're almost being a chameleon. You're showing this version of yourself to the public, and behind the scenes, like you're someone completely different. For me, I can just be one way, and I'm very lucky just to be who I am every single day. And you either like it or you don't, and that'd be very difficult for me to have to play both sides of that.
Well, it's difficult to balance, and you choose it to be a balance, right? Like I'm not that Zach Clayton character you see.
Oh,
That is a piece of
there is. Yeah.
but I can't walk around every day like that. Though it would be really fun. I can't. Yeah. So I have to be Zach Carpinello here and at home, and so that dichotomy is interesting. But I am around people who they wear 3, 5 faces.
Yep.
And I think it gets to a point where too much is too much. And it happens way more often. Too. You're around the same type of people.
Yeah, dude, it's wild.
Influencers and entertainers and celebrities. And these people, you'll see them one day and they're a certain way. And you'll see them in a different setting, a different day, and they're a completely different person. It's like, which person is, who am I talking to?
Yeah, it's wild. And everybody's entitled to a bad day. But when you see a pattern, especially in celebrities, and like Zach said, with people that should have take a quick commercial break. No, I'm just kidding.
Right on the grid. This is what we call it. We pause for sound.
Which is like, we're just, it's ASMR.
Yeah.
No, but speaking of COVID, purchased this building during COVID when there was no freight.
Yes. Only one buy once a day, we were told. Now, every hour on hour.
Might be able to sue your.
Also, the audience, these microphones are so tremendous that probably can't even hear us. Yeah. But if you can hear it at home, there's a train going by.
We could say, are we still good or?
I think it's fine. I mean, we're at ACW and they were testing the ring.
Yeah.
And you could still hear Nunzio and Zach chopping it up. So I think we're going to be all right.
Awesome.
But yeah, I thought it was funny as soon as it started.
No,
it's also like the longest train I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. You're like, does it come every hour or does it come
too? Or
does it last an hour?
Is it over?
It'd be funny if it was the whole day and they're like, oh, it only comes around once. But it's the entire shift.
It's like those movies that like you're buying like a shoddy building and the realtor's like, there's a train.
Yeah.
That's
Goes right through the building.
It's funny when it goes by, like, and I'm not here every single day. Like, I'm usually here like 2:00 because I like to have that interaction with the patients, and then like everyone leaves, so I'm able to like, get some things done, get work with the staff. But I'll hear the train go by. The therapists don't flash. The patients, they're just all so used to it. And it's just like part of everyday life for them.
So I agree. I kind of need noise when I sleep because I am from Brooklyn. I worked in Philadelphia for the past 20 years. So when it's too quiet, I actually don't like where I live. It's like farmland. Yeah. And that scares me more than quietness scares me more than I'd rather hear activity.
I got one for you. I'm going to expose myself here.
Let's go.
So when the kids were little, they were 2 and 4. And do you guys know like a sound, like a white noise machine?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. The kids couldn't sleep without it. So there was a time where Jenny and I would be in each of their beds putting them to sleep, right? And they had to have the sound machine on it. We would doze off sometimes, wake up, go back, whatever. So we were like, we should get one. So now I cannot sleep without a white noise.
Really?
Yeah. So if I'm traveling at hotels or something, if Jenny's with me, we'll bring one that we have. But if I'm by myself, I have to put the TV on so there's a noise. And I never used to be like that until I started using the sound machine.
Yeah, my daughter uses
the actual white noise.
Yeah, well, it's Sleep Jar. Yeah, and we'll try to reach out to them, but it's a family-owned company, White Noise by Sleep Jar, and it will ask randomly for us to donate money to keep it going. And my daughter would be like, we're not doing that. I was like, but it puts you to bed every night.
That's fun.
So we will be sending you a donation, Sleep Jar. I promise.
So
because it's
Wait, do you have any tips on that? Because my daughter's been using it for the last year.
On sleep or just the white noise?
The white noise, and do you try to? I mean, are you actively going to remove it from your stuff?
No,
He's going to win.
I think we keep it. I think we keep it. It works.
I sleep with a fan.
I sleep with a fan too.
Yeah,
I think then there's some sort of a science behind. But TV is not good.
I used to sleep with a TV every night,
and it's not the light; it's the noise. It's hearing all the different
brain activity.
Downs of brain activity. The waves keep you awake, but the white noise, if it's because it's a constant level, and it doesn't change.
Yeah,
it does something beneficial for your sleep. Actually,
talk about sleep. We have one of 7 in the state of New Jersey that's a certified sleep therapist here at Valley Spring.
There you go. That's
tremendous.
Yeah, we do a lot of sleep health, and I was laughing as you were saying that because we have first of the year we did a health and wellness challenge. Every staff member that completes the challenge, I have to spend 10 seconds per staff member in a cold plunge. So I'm hoping it's not more than 2-3 minutes because it's cold this time. It's actually, I'm going to be doing it in a lake. But the thing that I made my video on that you were supposed to say, what are you going to struggle with the most on this? And it was everything from stretching in the morning to doing deep breathing, cold exposure, cold showers, 10,000 steps, like something that, and there was modifications that you could do. The one that I'm still struggling with is 30 minutes before bed, no TV, no cell phone. Shut it down. And I couldn't fall asleep for like 3 straight nights. No. And finally, like within 2 minutes, I was out. Like it was the best night's sleep I've ever had.
Yeah. I mean, I worked in the mattress industry for a very long time.
Yeah.
And having the correct pillow, the correct mattress, and all those sleep deterrents out of the way is huge. Yeah. Yep. So I will write notes. Zach we share some notes, so he might see it. Like it's like, oh, Power's about to go to bed because I just have to put what I promised on there, or else I'll wake up at 5 a.m. or I'll stay up till 5 a.m. just thinking about stuff that would have taken minutes to do. Before I went to bed. So
the big one is crossing off your to-do list, or you think about it.
Yeah,
get rid of all the dopamine pretty much. Before you sleep. Yeah, I read. It helps me.
Oh, me too.
I'll crash
fall asleep.
Yeah,
like 5 minutes.
Oh no, yes.
I used to sleep with the TV, and then I started having these weird nightmares, like night terrors, and dude, like some of it is bonkers, like to the point where like I'm like glad I didn't die of a heart attack, but now they're all gone because we ditched the TV. So we'll see.
That's what I've been trying to do is read before bed, but definitely open. What do you guys usually, all of us being entrepreneurial minded, what does everyone like to read and stay up on? Do you have any like specific like mindset books you'd recommend? I'm always looking for recommendations.
Yeah, I'm huge into sports, so I read the same 4 books a lot, which makes no sense. But
no, it does. It does it does.
Yeah, my favorite is The Worst Team Money Could Buy: The Collapse of the New York Mets, because it reminds me of how you could have everything in the world and drugs and alcohol could take it away from you. So the '86 Mets were on top of the world.
Yep.
After that, complete disaster. The only guy that on that team was like, they called him the priest or whatever, was Howard Johnson. Like he was like the only clean guy. You had Vince Coleman almost killing kids with firecrackers. Daryl and Doc were very much into, drug use. Keith Hernandez was drinking. They were at clubs every night. It's just crazy to see how you could build the dream team and like watch it all implode. Yeah. So for some reason, I keep going through it. The other one that I've been reading on rotation, the CEO of BAI, BAI, it was an energy drink, a juice, and it was like 10 calories. And I started drinking it, and that was the first time I got healthy. So I ditched coffee, I ditched everything. I was just drinking BAI, and I was doing it in a weird way. I was watering it down as I went throughout the day. So I was drinking 1 cup of this 10-calorie juice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He sells it to Dr. Pepper for $1.8 billion. Yes. So, the book that he wrote is tremendous, and it teaches you all about how to take care of your clients, how to take care of life, and how so there's a part of the book where he speaks about going into a supermarket, and a lady looks at his bottle, puts it down, and then picks up like a diet Snapple instead.
Yeah.
And he wanted to intervene. And something in his brain told him not to, because you're only fixing that one problem. I have to fix this 1,000 times over. I have to fix this for the millions of people that are doing that same exact motion.
Oh, yeah.
Like if I get involved in that one, I'm going to feel good for the day, but it's not going to fix my brand. He fixed it. So it's stuff like that. So that's where I'm at right now.
I'll check that one out.
Yeah. I'll get you a copy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I read all the time. I think it's super important, man. If you're in the growth mindset, it's super important. I just finished Matthew McConaughey's Green Lights. That was more of that. Did you guys read that?
I haven't read that.
Really go on. He's super insightful, McConaughey.
Yeah.
Like super deep philosophy and stuff.
I was listening. He's got so many good notes and
Yeah.
It's like a quick reel of like 30 seconds.
it's incredible. I'm like so
He's a
inspirational.
great speaker and a writer. Great writer.
So inspiration.
Like when he talks about he's like always chasing himself 10 years like in the future. You ever hear that one? That's a great one.
Yeah. Who's his role model? Him in 10 years, right?
In 10 years. And it's like, wow, like you're always chasing, your dreams, that's when it took it.
So you guys know Alex Ramosi? You must.
Yeah.
He has the 85-year-old self. And when I first heard that during COVID, actually, it changed perspective for me. It's like your 85-year-old self, pretty much
Right.
who you aspire to be, like, and you can apply that to any situation. So it's like we were talking before we started rolling, traffic situations,
Oh, yeah.
right? So it's like, would your 85-year-old self really care, like, about
Absolutely.
this? And what if you did something to impact your 85-year-old self?
Yeah.
What if you did something that there was no 85-year-old self? Like, what would that person think about you in this moment right now? What would he say to you? And having that perspective of that lens, like, really, for me anyway, it changes a lot. Like, when we're in stressful situations and things, like, does this really actually matter for that guy? Probably not. And if it does, okay, well, fix it. So this guy, it's not such a big deal, right? Like, don't make this something that he said you should have changed.
And that's why I think perspective and going back to gratitude is so important, because it was like 2 a.m. 2 nights ago. My daughter's crying and in the middle of the night. So I'm in there holding her, and I'm like, I thought about it, and I was like, oh man, I'm so tired. I just want to go. But then I'm like, I would be dreaming that I'm holding my daughter at this stage in 10 years or 20 years from now. Be like, I'm cherishing this right now. I'm so happy. Like I get to hold my daughter right now, which in 10 years she'll be,
I am
causing a lot of other problems and crying in the middle of the night, for sure. But you just think about those scenarios, and you're like, all right, I'm so lucky. I get to do this. I get to go to work. I get to come here. I get to meet with great people. It's not like I have to do this. I have to do this. And you just change your mindset on that. And I think 2 books that I've been going back and forth with are Man's Search for Meaning, which is a great book. I don't know if you guys know about it, but it's fantastic. Just individual that went through the camps, the camps in Germany during the Holocaust. And then Never Give Up. Shout out to Jersey City and Danny Hurley. So we're close friends with the Hurley family. I was always in the gym, playing basketball there, and he was a role model to me. I mean, I brought me on to the locker rooms with. Allen Iverson didn't want to meet against Georgetown. Remember that? But Ray Allen, I got a chance to meet Ray Allen, a bunch of guys, because Danny would always bring me in there with Seton Hall and all the teams that they used to beat. So great book if you haven't picked it up yet.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
That's so cool. And we were talking about the traffic before and how that was such an interesting perspective with the 85-year-old self, because I always envision myself like, for some reason, on a rocking chair under a covered porch, and I'm like looking back on my life, what am I going to regret? What do I wish I could do? And that's why I'm going back through the Everyday Stoic, because the other day someone cuts me off, I give them the Jersey salute, and I'm yelling at them, and I'm like, what am I doing? And not to be morbid or anything, but anytime I pass a graveyard or something and I look at all the gravestones, I always think like, lost ideas there, the what ifs. I should have done this. I should have prioritized more of my time there. Like, if you could interview that graveyard, like, what would the commonalities be? And I think a lot of it is where we would repurpose our time throughout our life. I think that's because they don't have any left, So I always, when you were talking about the 85-year-old self, that's a great way to look at it. I'm going to take that. I'm going to run with it.
Well, yeah, the young man has 1,000 wishes and the dying man only has one, right?
Yep.
That's what it goes back to.
So true. Great quote.
There's something that Gary Richard once read to all the leaders at PC Richard and Son. It was The Man in the Glass, and it's quick short read, and it's like basically it's like when the world gave you all your flowers and made you king for the day, it's all for naught if you cheated the man in the glass, because the real perception of yourself. So we can fake it on Instagram, like Zach said, a lot of these millionaires and billionaires do, but we know true self. And that perspective is 85 is that guy looking back. Did I do what I could do? Like, look, we all have our moments. Like you're not going to have every right answer. You're going to upset somebody. You're going to have people that in your life that you wish you could have done better and made them realize that you had the best interest in their meanings. But as long as you were right by yourself, you could rest assured. I don't look at my bank account. I look at my wins and what I'm able to do personally. And did I do it right? Because you could cheat. You could cheat this whole system, right? But you can't cheat yourself.
Well, we were talking on a different episode that you brought that up.
Mm-hmm.
And going back to what I said about people in the spotlight who are miserable, it's because of that.
Yes.
They go home and they look at themselves and they know that they cheated themselves,
right,
or they cheated somebody else to get something.
Right.
So it's a conversation that comes up a lot, especially in business, right? It's like, oh, you have to do this to do this. You don't, actually. You can be a horrible person and be very successful.
Right.
Like we see that every single day. You can have no values at all, step on people, stab people in the back, and become very successful doing it because you're still doing the things that are required to get there. Or, and Powers and I talk about this off camera because we're like, maybe we should just turn heel. And we would actually maybe be a lot better in life than we.
I know. Talk about.
Yeah. Because I personally have left so much money on the table and I'm fine doing it because I will not compromise the integrity of my values or the way that I think for money. I'm just not going to do it.
I made the joke. I'll go to jail for the team. Just take care of Peyton, my daughter. Because, you hit a nerve, man, when you were talking about spending that extra time. Last night, I had to record for our show. And she took out a marker and wrote on the glass, hey, Daddy, when you're done, come up and say goodnight to me, please. And if I'm sleeping, good night. Love payday.
Goodness.
Are you kidding me? So, yeah, I was in pocket. And I had to collect myself. I went up there. I slept with her for like a solid 30 minutes, holding her. And so I was like, damn, I just had that moment last night. Yeah. I was like, because I was like, what the hell? The whole time I hear the beep, 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 beep while I'm recording. So it sounds like just marker on glass. Yeah. And I'm like, what is she doing? And she's editing, redoing it. Yeah. And I'm like, oh man, I'm going to have to clean that mess after. Yeah. And then I read the message and I'm like, go be the dad you wanted to be. Yeah. The reason why I left PC Richard was to be that dad. Yeah. I was fully consumed in running that store in Philadelphia and, and growing that. And I realized I miss dance. I couldn't coach softball. I didn't have enough time. And then, so I took a step back, took the role that I have now with iHeart, and I've been there every single day, so it's been cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's little stuff that means a lot when you do look back when you're 85. There was what I should have been doing and I got to do, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
In what you do when no one's looking, that's the biggest thing. Biggest look at, even down to simple GoFundMes, right? Whether I'm donating $5 or $100, I always do it anonymously because I don't want I don't need the credit or anything if someone's struggling. Anytime I see a woman struggling with groceries or something, I always offer, because that was the way I was raised, right? You offer to hold their groceries, right? And those are the little things. And at the end of the day, I'm going to start envisioning that my 85-year-old self, what would he think in this moment as I'm doing that? And I have a lot of respect for what you said about not compromising your morals and your ethics. And, we work in a very regulated space. You have state regulations, accreditations that you go for, Joint Commission CARF, you have federal statutes, and then a whole bunch of payer guidelines. And it's very easy to, get lost and, not, but that's why we pay attention to every little thing. And, I wouldn't compromise my integrity for anything.
I wanted to start this show, Prestige Access to help people give value, give back, right? I want people to know in any situation, mental, physical, financial, whatever it is, you're not alone.
Yes.
Could you give us just some actionable steps that somebody could take at home, possibly listening to this?
Yep.
That somebody to get back on the right track if they're off track right now. Hopefully not too far off track.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not willing to get help, if you're not willing to talk to a professional, that's always the number one thing I say is like, do your research, right? Google is number one thing you can do. Anyone can put anything on their website, but look at the testimonials, look at the Google reviews, like do your research, reach out to your network and find a doctor or a facility that can help you out. But, my biggest thing where I think I took it to the next level is just routines, right? I've had the same morning routine since I was in my first rehab day one, right? Like I immediately wake up, I do a quick prayer, I get to the side of my bed, I do about 15 to 20 deep breaths as a form of meditation, immediately have to go outside and get some fresh air, and then I start my day, right? Start with little wins, start building on your routine. I also think reading, which we talked a little bit about, read books that you're interested with, stuff that you're doing, and listen to podcasts, but it's not a one size fits all, right? Like we're not trying to be all things to all people at Valley Spring, but we're trying to give them a little bit of everything, right? Because everyone's journey, whether you're struggling with mental health, anxiety, depression, substance abuse, like you just need to get the little wins. And you don't, just because I got sober a certain way or, we've recovered from mental health a certain way, doesn't mean it's going to work exactly for you. So reach out to as many people and just try and get a collective advice and try everything once. If it doesn't work, it's okay. Keep trying, go moving on to the next thing until it does.
What I notice is there's always this myth of rock bottom. Like, it's not like, oh, I haven't hit rock bottom, or they'll hit rock bottom or whatever. Like, is that really where somebody, like, is there a moment where that actually happens and you're like, I need to change this? Or is that just, like, I always felt like it's not, I don't know. Like, the idea of rock bottom for me is like, it's somebody making an excuse to not get better. You see what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'm not that bad. Look at that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Or well, he did this, so I can do this, right? What are your thoughts on that?
I think rock bottom would be thinking you're in New Jersey, waking up in Miami and not knowing how you got there, or going to Valley Hospital, one of the local, not remembering how you got there and there's IVs all over the place, and then being homeless in Minnesota for 2-3 days in the middle of the winter. That ain't fun. And, that was my rock bottom, but every rock bottom before that could have been it. I think it's just when you're sick and tired, like when you're sick and tired of living that way, it's very difficult to just exist, right? Like, in my story did get very dark at times where I didn't know about rehab. I don't know why I didn't know about rehab or didn't think about it, but like, I don't know if it was the education or the schools, but like, there were times where I was like, it would be easier just to die. Like, if I overdosed and died, like, I'd be okay with it. If I took this gun that I know where it is and shot myself in the head, I would probably be better. And then I think about my family and what it would do to them. And thank God I never went there. But I do know people, and I have friends very close friends who did end up killing themselves, right? Whether it's accidental or, an overdose, or, they shot themselves, and it's, thank God I didn't get there.
Well, that's why you're here now.
Yeah.
Give back, help.
Absolutely.
Right.
I feel like I've been given a second chance, and I lost my father, who was, role model of mine. I always looked up to him. He was always like a community man, right? Like in the church, he was always coaching our teams. He was the commissioner of various different sports, and he valued community over money, and someone I always really looked up to. And, before he passed away, I was like, well, what can I do? He's like, just keep helping people. That's all you need to do.
And
There you go. And I love that.
Yeah.
we love highlighting people who are helping. So thank you.
You were right. He's a great guy. Yeah. I love it, man. Well, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Absolutely.
Obviously, thank you, bro.
Oh, yeah.
I knew this would be a lot of fun.
Come on. Yeah, let's go. I got a new name. I got my ring name. Like, let's go. I just need the physique and
Where
the
can
underwear.
everyone find you and contact you?
So they can go to our website, valleyspringrecovery.com. You can find all the information, or you can follow us on any of our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We have a lot of really informative information, including we've taken a different approach with our marketing and branding. We want people actually to meet the therapist, see some of the groups. So you'll see some good content on there.
Yeah, your whole team's on there, actually, right? Most
of them. Yeah.
And you could accept people from anywhere, or tell me about that.
Accept anywhere, patients from anywhere.
Okay.
We're in network with the majority of the insurance. And, we want to continue to, I believe in access to care, and we're going to continue to look at various different Medicaid products. And right now we take commercial insurance, but we're in network with the majority of the payers.
And for your mental health facility, you're going to start adolescents soon?
We will. We currently have the adolescent license, which is a big win, and we're currently recruiting right now that clinical head to do it. I personally don't have experience with adolescents, so there's a lot of trust that goes into that position. That this person is going to take a young child into their care, and so we're looking. We've identified a couple people, but hopefully by the end of the year, Q4, we'll have that adolescent program of excellence up and running. So yeah,
That's fantastic, because I love that name.
I just came up with it. You like it?
Oh, you did?
I forgot it. Yes.
Yeah, I love it.
Tremendous.
We're just seeing
Feeling that.
We're just seeing the adolescents. The adolescents are just skyrocketing in the mental health issues, and having a facility like yours, I'm sure, will help that situation.
Yeah, and we need about 100 more Valley Springs to open up to treat the adolescents. There's long wait line, and also, if you have money, it's easy to get the help, but there's a large population that we were talking about before, and we've decided to partner up and create a nonprofit to help some of the underserved populations to be able to get to health and wellness initiatives and be able to give back. And if people are struggling, we can at least point them in the right direction and get them resources.
Love it.
Yeah.
Amen.
Guys, this is great. Thank you so much.
We appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
Absolutely.